there are over 27,000 pieces of debris orbiting the Earth. Scraps of metal, dead satellites, discarded rocket stages, a junkyard floating in the dark, a testament to our 60 years of reaching for the stars. But what if I told you one of those objects isn't ours? What if one of them is ancient? A dark, silent sentinel that was watching our planet long before we ever dreamed of leaving it. A machine that, according to some, has been in orbit for 13,000 years. This is the story of the Black Knight, an alleged alien satellite that has been sending signals to Earth for over a century, a mystery woven from strange radio echoes, Pentagon reports, and a chilling photograph taken by NASA itself. The story doesn't begin in the space age. It begins in 1899 in the Colorado Springs laboratory of the master of electricity, Nikola Tesla. He had built a massive transmitter, a tool to experiment with wireless power. One night, while monitoring the sensitive equipment, he detected something that shouldn't have been there. A series of rhythmic, repeating signals. They were clearly intelligent. He considered they might be signals from another world, perhaps Mars. He was the first to hear the whisper from the void, but he would not be the last. Decades passed. The world was plunged into wars and rebuilt itself. Then, in 1928, a Norwegian engineer named Jørgen Hals was experimenting with radio transmissions. He experienced something bizarre. He would send a signal out, and seconds later, he would hear its echo return. This shouldn't be possible. A radio wave travels at the speed of light. An echo from the moon takes about 2.5 seconds. Hals was hearing delays of 3 seconds or more. These became known as long delay echoes, or LDEs. It was as if something was catching his signal and deliberately transmitting it back to him. The phenomenon baffled scientists. The whispers were getting louder. Then, in 1954, the story exploded into the mainstream. Major newspapers, including the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, ran sensational articles based on a report in Aviation Week and Space Technology magazine. They claimed the Pentagon had discovered not one, but 2 mysterious satellites orbiting the Earth. This was 3 years before the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1. At the time, humanity had not successfully put a single object into orbit. So who did these 2 satellites belong to? The articles fueled speculation that we were being watched. For years, these were just disconnected threads, a strange signal heard by Tesla, impossible radio echoes, a phantom satellite reported in the news. It wasn't until the 1970s that a Scottish researcher named Duncan Lunan pieced them all together. He took a hard look at the data from the long delay echoes. He plotted the delay times on a graph, and what he saw was astonishing. He claimed the pattern wasn't random. It was a star map. A map that pointed to a specific star system, Epsilon Boötis, a double star in the northern constellation of Boötis. But there was more. Based on the position of the stars in the map, Lunan calculated that the message had to have been sent from a probe that arrived in our solar system 13,000 years ago. Suddenly, all the pieces clicked into place. The signals Tesla heard, the echoes, the mystery satellites. They were all connected to a single object, an alien probe, 13,000 years old, parked in polar orbit, watching the dawn of human civilization. The legend of the Black Knight satellite was born. It was a fantastic story, an out-of-place artifact of the highest order. But it was still just a story, based on interpreting faint radio signals. There was no physical proof, until 1998. The crew of the Space Shuttle Endeavour on mission STS-88 were on a critical assignment. They were helping to build the International Space Station, connecting the first American and Russian modules. During a spacewalk, NASA astronauts photographed a series of objects, and one of those photographs was stunning. It shows a bizarre black object tumbling alone in the void. It's asymmetrical, complex, and looks utterly alien. It's silhouetted against the brilliant blue and white curve of the Earth. This, the believers said, was it. The first photograph of the Black Knight. The final proof. Here was an object, clearly not a normal satellite, photographed by NASA, matching the description of the Dark Sentinel that had been haunting our radio waves for a century. The case seemed closed. It's a perfect story. A mystery that spans 100 years, connecting one of history's greatest minds to the space age, all culminating in photographic evidence from NASA itself. But here's the thing about perfect stories. Sometimes they're just that. Stories. And when you look closely at the Black Knight, the incredible alien artifact begins to look a lot more human. Let's start with that chilling photograph, the supposed smoking gun. NASA has a very simple explanation for it, and they should know because they saw it happen. The object in the photo is a thermal blanket. It was accidentally lost by astronauts Jerry Ross and James Newman during their spacewalk to connect the station modules. The mission logs and the astronauts themselves confirm it. It's a piece of space junk, nothing more. A 5-figure blanket, but a blanket nonetheless. Okay, so the photo is a dud. But what about the rest of the story? What about the 13,000-year-old message from Epsilon Botis? Well, the man who proposed it, Duncan Lunan, is a brilliant researcher. But even brilliant people can make mistakes. Years after publishing his theory, he re-examined his data and methods, and he came to a painful conclusion. His work was flawed. He publicly retracted his entire theory, stating that his methods were unscientific and that he had made major errors in his interpretation. The 13,000-year-old star map was a ghost, a product of wishful thinking. So what about the 1954 Pentagon report of satellites in orbit before Sputnik? That story came from a UFO author who claimed to have an inside source. It was never confirmed by the Pentagon. Most researchers today believe it was either a misunderstanding or a complete fabrication designed to sell books. And the long delay echoes. They are a real phenomenon. But scientists have proposed many possible natural causes, like signals bouncing between layers of the ionosphere. There is no need to invoke an alien satellite to explain them. This leaves us with Nikola Tesla. What did he hear back in 1899? At the time, no one knew. But today, we know the universe is crackling with natural radio signals. He was most likely one of the first people to detect a pulsar, the rapidly spinning remnant of a dead star, which emits beams of radio waves in a steady, repeating pulse. An alien signal, but a natural one. So one by one, the pillars of the legend fall. The photo is a blanket. The star map was a mistake. The Pentagon report was a rumor. The radio signals have natural explanations. Even the name Black Knight was retroactively applied. It was originally the name of a British rocket program in the 1950s.